During the school year of 1996 and 97, we went into the 3 high schools of Missoula County. We went to gather interviews, opinions, essays, artworks, songs, poems, and any form of expression from the students. The theme that was required of the students was a simple question. What was your perfect room?
My room would have to be the windows. There's no walls. They're just windows. They're walls, but they're windows. Really pretty windows, though. And like half the room would be a big bed, and the sheets would be blue, and the ground, the carpet would be a little bit shaggy, but not too shaggy, and it'd be white, and the walls would be a dark blue. And the ceiling would be rounded on top. It'd be a round ceiling, so I could put all my posters and everything or whatever up there. I'd have a lot of shelves. I'd have a shelf over all the windows and a shelf below the windows. And anywhere there's not a window, there'd be a shelf, so I could put all my cool little knickknacks and everything and all my books that I read. And I'd have a fish tank in the center of the room it's a long tube, and it'd be pretty big too, and it'd be a fish tank, so I could get up in the morning, I'd look straight forward, in the middle of my room there'd be this fish tank. Yeah, that'd be good. And I'd have stairs to one corner that I'd just lead down. What I'm trying to say is I'd be like living on top of a White House. No, lighthouse. Yeah, not White House, lighthouse. Lighthouse would be good. That would be my perfect room. I think. Yeah. I guess.
This is my room. It doesn't look a lot like I thought it would be, but I don't know. I like plants, and I like fish, kind of. And I think a big, huge fish tank would be really neat. And yeah.
Okay, anything else to add?
No, that's about it. I just like how everything, all the circles just kind of blend together, and so there's not like a whole bunch of jagged edges, and just kind of like how it flows all together.
In my ideal room, I'd want a large art table so you could have lots of space to work with whatever you're doing. And then you could look outside on clouds or trees or whatever, for something to draw. And of course, you gotta have stereo with large speakers, music, gotta have some music to listen to. And you have a couch and you relax or whatever, watch a little TV. You gotta have some food, to replenish yourself. And, I don't know, that's about it.
You have rabbit ears on your TV. Isn't that a little old-fashioned?
No cable.
No cable, huh?
My perfect room would be like having the tropical weather, but not the cold, but okay. With a bunch of blue paintings with the picture of Mona Lisa and the chief of the Cheyenne River. And it'd have strobe lights with like soda, Mountain Dew, the best stuff you could have. That's what my perfect room would be like, with blue walls with red polka dots, and that's about it.
My idea of a perfect room is incense with peppermint and bubbles. Black lights,
a big old couch,
a big couch, a big TV, and come here, Christy.
And we're best friends. No, we're sisters. Yeah, and we share a bedroom, you know, and it's really neat.
And it's so big.
And, well, well, you know, just a really hippie-ish one.
Rainbow.
G type stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
and those
have
little,
those little, like, beads hanging down.
those beads
the
from your door,
ceiling.
and these rainbow strings.
And a bunch of beads and hemp. A bunch of beads and
And
hemp.
stars that glow with the black light.
Okay, my perfect room is there's going to be black lights instead of regular lights illuminating everything.
Black lights and strobe lights and
Black lights and strobe light.
Lots of strobe lights.
Black lights all over the place, black light posters all over the place.
black lights. Black lights and strobe lights and
Black lights and strobe light.
Lots of strobe lights.
Black lights all over the place, black light posters all over the place.
black lights.
Black light.
You have like a black light?
It has strobe lights.
Techno water that reacts to black lights.
Time alone. Alone in my room, I sit and ponder. I think about life and all of its wonder. I picture my future and can't help but hope that with all of the pressures, I'll be able to cope. In a world of changes where there's lots to do, I enjoy being home with my endless time alone.
Okay. My idea of a perfect room is a king-size waterbed, a big screen TV, and a huge stereo system.
All right, it'd be 150 by 150. There'd be beads over the door, a disco ball, shag carpet, green, 3-inch, a microwave, TV VCR in every corner, home stereo surround sound, personal Hoagieville, 3 couches, 3 lazy boys, 4 banana chairs, a black light and posters, my own movie library, 4 air ionizers, a strobe light, fog machine, Pepsi machine, Coke machine, vending machine, several coffee tables, 1 big round table, 4-gallon coffee pot, a bar, a pool table, swimming pool with a high dive and a low dive, a hot tub, spa, jacuzzi, a BMX half pipe, Daytona racing, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, Atari Jaguar, Sony PlayStation, mirrored ceiling, stage lighting, flood lighting, and a lamp lighting on a dimmer, unlimited frozen pizza, and a Viva 2% milk dispenser.
I guess my perfect room would be no room at all. I think rooms restrict people, so I think trees and the outside is the best. Probably sounds a little weird, but I think it'd be better off to have a room in the forest. It might get cold at times, maybe a little wet, but you can get back to your woods.
Yeah, stop and talk.
What?
Talk about your room.
My perfect room is gonna have swimming pools, hot tubs, saunas, racetracks, race cars, video games. Black.
Oh.
Dap. We'll have like deer heads and moose heads and bear rugs and a whole bunch of freezers full of deer meat and bear meat and elk and moose.
What have special kind of lights?
Red lights.
Will you be able to sleep in the race car?
Yeah. gonna be the story of my life. Have like garages and that's about it.
My perfect room would be a garage so that I could bring my car in and work on it. It would have shag carpet, a huge couch, TV, stereo, a big sunset mural above my waterbed. Off to the side there would be a bathroom, and that's about it.
Would have to be a garage, working on a car. I love working on cars. I don't have much else to say. There you go. That's a perfect room.
A perfect room would be if I could have a bedroom that maybe I could keep my brothers out of. That would be my perfect room.
Okay. My room has unlimited dimensions. I made half of it so it's nighttime and half of it so it's daytime. My room has unlimited dimensions. I'm not sure which half I like better, night or day, so I made both of it. My room has unlimited dimensions. I love the outdoors and I love the water. I love the outdoors and I love the water. My room has unlimited dimensions.
There are no walls, only endless history, prairie, timber, mountains, and sky. Cool winds drift off snow-dusted peaks as I wander aimlessly through a meadow of wildflowers. Hooves and earths meet as grasses murmur tales of the past. The ceiling is a vibrant blue disappearing into the heavens. As I dismount, the creak of leather engulfs me in the splendor of the land. No fences, no limits. Only a woman, her horse, and wide open spaces.
My perfect room would probably be one where the walls were carpeted, were thick carpet, and they weren't straight. They had shelves, like 3 or 4, and it'd have to be a big room, really tall and wide, just a big room, and it'd have to have a whole bunch of bean bags and mattresses on the floor. And there'd have to be a big trampoline in the middle with a basketball hoop connected to it, with probably a pinball machine and a big entertainment center with a big TV and a VCR and, lots of videos and stuff, and, Sega or something. It'd just have to be a really fun room with a pool table, too. And that'd be my idea of a perfect room.
Alrighty. Yeah, my perfect room. Everything in there has got to be blacklight responsive. We got serious strobes going down. We got bumping supplies. We got a small kitchen. Maybe a tiny, tiny refrigerator. And we got to have the females partying and bumping it all night long. So y'all just chill out, and that's about it.
My perfect room would be of a big room with a balcony, and it has to have a big window in front of my bed and a big, huge, 200-gallon tank right beside my bed with about 5 turtles, and lots of pictures of my family on my green wall.
Well, this is my room, and after watching Van Gogh doing a project on it, that's where I got the information.
And I guess it's just all about music. The whole painting is about feeling. It's just kind of being alone in my room so I can play guitar. The red walls are just kind of, be cool to have red walls, just be wild.
Perfect room for me would be my bedroom, but with a 32-piece drum set in it.
Really, really big speakers. So I have a lot of music.
Surround sound, stereo set.
Music, a really
Big speakers.
Oh yeah, like really mega bass.
I like twisted music.
Stereo.
A big, huge stereo.
Loud music.
Stereo system has to be huge.
Music. Must have music.
A big, huge surround sound stereo in it.
And a blasting stereo system.
Surround sound. Surround sound.
Music, like sleeping out of the walls and out of the ceiling, and so you could always hear music.
A perfect room for my ear. A perfect room for my ear. A perfect room for my ear.
So your idea of a perfect room is basically
a perfect room for my ear. A perfect room for my ear. A perfect room for my ear.
Everybody else has been saying that in their perfect room they'd have things like basketball courts or bowling alleys or pool halls, and I figure, heck, why not put everything in it? My perfect room has to have a pool hall in it, video games, stadium-sized basketball court too. Some indoor tennis courts would be cool. And I kind of like the idea of having a carousel in my room. I also need an espresso bar. I also need a McDonald's. All my best friends have to be there.
Okay, I did my room plain and kind of open because I like big open spaces and not a lot of things cluttering up a room. Furniture really depends on what you want in it at a certain time. And I didn't want to bother myself with that because it could change. And if I put it in permanently, I'd be unhappy with my picture. The staircase just leads down probably to another room. It depends on if I want it to go somewhere or not. The window I did with the mountain scene because I like the mountains around here, and I just did a checkerboard floor because I don't know, it's different, and it looks like I could go into a totally opposite room than what I'm in right now.
My idea of a perfect room is that, well, actually almost anything, because I like a lot of things.
I feel as if the perfect room is no room at all because walls and floors confine people. I think like just being openness would be just about the perfect room. Just so you can do whatever and you can look anyway and not see confinement.
Okay, my perfect room would have no walls. Anything you want would appear or disappear as you want.
The perfect room would be a way to have all the space you needed in a small area.
And there'd be no rules in the room, and it would be open to anyone that wanted to come in it.
There are no rules, just respect me and my stuff.
Well, if it was perfect, you wouldn't need rules.
True.
Or regulations.
I probably wouldn't make any rules because then it wouldn't be a fun place to go.
What is the perfect room? It is a room of the mind. Let us visit the Big Sky Cafeteria Study Hall. Let us look into the mind of an unsuspecting freshman as they wander through their thoughts. Let us witness the beauties of the mind and where it can take us. We can go and see the planets, and we can see sights of unbelievable beauty and wanton destruction. Sights that can take your breath away and only the mind can see, but also of the power of nature. Nature in its most beautiful form is also in its most destructive. In my room, you can visit all of these, never leaving the comfort of your mind. Beautiful yet deadly. But also, you can visit the more humane side and see the animals that you've always wanted to see. In my room, you can always know that you can leave whenever you wish. The perfect room to me is the room of the mind, a room that you can take with you wherever you go, even at school.
If there was a perfect classroom for students to work in and stuff, I think it would have to have no desks, and it would have to be really comfortable, like pillows and stuff, and the environment would have to be like a big circle rather than one like dictator and all the people kind of bowing down to them. Okay, all done.
Perfect ideal room of a classroom is a swimming pool with just girls, so we could swim freely at least 2 hours during the school day.
Perfect classroom. Perfect classroom. TV with cable.
Yeah.
And
windows.
And a swimming pool.
A swimming pool?
In the classroom.
How big?
Big swimming pool. That'll be our desk.
Yeah, and then but teachers being like nice and wanting to cooperate with you.
And another thing we'd want would have to where like one day a week the students would get to teach.
My idea of a perfect room would be a huge room that would have everything anybody would ever want to use, and the only reason to leave this room would be to go to school.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The perfect room that I would choose is in the 60s hall in Big Sky High School. It's room 68.
This is hell.
What are we gonna tell?
We're gonna tell about our bus. We don't really have a room. We have a car, and a perfect car.
It's gonna be a bus.
A yellow bus.
Small one.
Small.
And we're gonna rip out all the seats, and we're gonna put in like bean bags
and stuff.
banana chairs. We're gonna paint it really cool, and then
It's gonna be yellow though.
I have nothing to say about my perfect room.
Everything, dude, yeah.
You never have to eat your parents' food? Well, I would say you would have to have a toilet.
No.
My own computer!
I'd keep a little bald man in my room.
Every single wall, ceiling, and floor has a mirror.
A big triangle.
Padded everything. Nothing breakable.
Just a bunch of happy-looking stuff, whatever that looks like.
Art hanging all over the walls.
Be like a big jungle.
No right angles?
Big, bright colors.
A TV playing Claudette Colbert movies.
I think it'd be a big boat, so I could go anywhere I wanted.
It'd be big and yellow. Big and yellow, like the sunshine.
And it would smell fresh and clean.
And the room would never get boring like this town does.
I have nothing to say about my perfect room.
My idea of a perfect room is one that I already have. I have dolls all over the place in case I have kids come to stay. I have a queen-sized bed. I even have my clock. All over the walls are pictures. I even have my own recliner. I have a dog, too. Her name's Angel. She just happens to be in here for no reason. I have a piano in my room. This is really about the most perfect thing I can think of.
My perfect room is just the streets with some cardboard and a few warm blankets. And maybe even a mattress. And for rainy days, a plastic tarp so that I don't get all wet. And lots of changes of socks. Your feet get dirty real fast when you're in the middle of the street. And a pillow or two. And a stereo just built into the sidewalk for my personal use only. And that's it.
I think the perfect room would have to have Ebony in it.
This is my room. In my room, my perfect room, I'd have a lot of shelves, and on the shelves would be like
lots of candles that represent my dreams and my goals and like everything that makes me up. And on these candles there'd be a description of like what specific dream or goal it is. And I think I'd like this because it's like it'd be a constant reminder of who you are, and you wouldn't be like disillusioned and think that you're someone else, and you'd be comfortable with yourself.
My perfect dream room would be a large pool with a floating bed which just drifted around, and that you could swing on a rope into it. You could swing on a rope into it. Rope swing.
Okay, the perfect room for me is a brand new basketball gym. The floor is hardwood that's polished to a shine, real dark polish. The lighting is very extraordinary. No matter which way you look, you cannot be blinded by the light. The place smells like pine, like a pine forest, and has a very open aura about it. The ceiling is 100 yards high so as not to affect any kind of shot, and it gives it a kind of an open space feeling. There are bleachers on two sides of it, and the bleachers can hold up to 1,000 people apiece, and those are basically used for my fans.
I don't know, it just reflects what I like, you know. I like to mountain bike, so I tried to put everything I could that has to do with mountain biking, all this stuff on the walls. It's simple because I don't like to be like confused with a lot of stuff, you know. I just kind of want like one thing going on for me. Gotta be cool stuff. Like everything on there is cool to me. Some people don't understand some of it. I kind of wanted the room to be more chaotic to reflect like a mountain biker. And just like free-spirited, you know, don't really worry about what other people think. Just go out and have some fun.
Or in this case, go in and have some fun.
Yeah.
My perfect room would be 72 degrees all the time and have a big feather bed from here to here. And it would have TVs that played 90210 all the time. 90210 episodes that no one's seen yet. And it would have mustard all over, because mustard is great.
This is not like wallpaper really. It's not repetitious. It's a mural more or less, but it's more three-dimensional. These birds are not all in the same spot. Some are farther back than others. Birds can have really bad tempers. My next door neighbor's bird has learned how to cry, so it's confusing people. They think a baby's crying when actually it's the bird, so it kind of depends what kind of birds. Kind of like pictures of birds better. I don't know why, just kind of, birds are kind of messy.
Your perfect
I want my room outside.
Outside?
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere.
Whereabouts?
In a forest.
In a forest.
Okay, we're not talking to you. Shut up.
Lots of
We're talking
deer.
to him.
Lots of deer?
It was made out of money. Made out of money? Everything in the room?
My perfect room. Well, let's see. A medium-sized room.
Because I know you'd be good at
made
what you'd want.
of quartz. Walls, ceilings, floor made of chalky quartz. On one side of the wall, pictures, dark pictures, pictures of nature, battles, the sky. A bed in the corner,
so I can sleep.
I'd have a huge stereo and listen to it when I fell asleep on a pile of money.
I don't know, I'd have a bowling alley in it.
I'd want one of those signs that says, you must be this tall to ride this ride.
My room is a castle.
Well, this is a theater because I like going to plays and movies and stuff. And the reason why it's from the performer's point of view is because, well, I don't like being in front of people, but I like observing people. And I just like sitting back and watching them do their thing. I just like drawing people because they all have their different personalities and like their eyes, each eye is different and stuff. I like the classic look.
This is our perfect room. It'd be a vending machine. It'd have many kinds of candy, and we would live inside this vending machine.
My room. Books. Laughter. My room.
People everywhere. Stacks of people. And in my room, you have to get along. You can't fight. You can't argue. There's no violence.
And everyone is just dancing, just non-stop dancing.
Well, I started off thinking of a dream that I had a long time ago, and it had a whole bunch of pillars in it and shapes and weird stuff in it. I don't know, there's weird writing and there's all these different twists and swirls, and so I thought they were pretty neat, so I just manipulated them a little and turned them into a bookcase design. And I like a lot of light in a house, so the windows let in a lot of light, and the fish is just a creative part of how I wanted everything after it's so crisp and precise to have a little fun with it, so I threw in the fish with a big eye.
I'd have another little room for, I don't know, just drawings and stuff, or letters that people give me. They hang them all up and everything, and then yearbooks and stuff like that. So basically, it's my private little, I don't know, it's like a scrapbook type thing, but it's a room. And then when I turn 18, I'd leave it there, so when I came back home, I'd be able to go through it again, remember everything that's happened.
For a bed, I would want to sleep on love, because there's not much of it in this world. I would want to be surrounded by peace with the walls, and I think their colors would probably be blue, even though I don't like blue. The windows would be very clear and able to see through, so you could see your future out of them. And the pillows would be soft, and they would make it so you didn't have to worry about anything. That's it.
The basic philosophy behind the video pieces comes from an interest in performance art that I've had for years and years since being at school at the U. And I usually focus in sculpture class because I want them to deal with space, and that's where I deal with a lot of conceptual issues. I like throwing weird concepts at the high school students there because they don't get a lot of conceptual stuff in school from my perspective, having talked to them. So in sculpture we do a lot of things working with 3 dimensions, and I want them to see the inside of a television as a space instead of just someone standing here going, la la la, I can play rock and roll, jump, jump, jump. I want them to think about this space where you get closer and where you get way far away, and how you can move in and out of this space somehow. You don't just stand inside a TV. And I want them to look at their world, be aware of their world, because that's sort of our common thread anymore. We don't all go to church. We've all seen Campbell's Soup, but that's kind of old hat. But we've all watched television, or we're all absorbed in video, and just having a video camera in a room really tends to either excite students. It excites them a lot. They always say, "Are we on tape?" And then they always try and stay out of the way of the camera, except going like this with their hands. And so I tried to tie in the performance art element to deal with the sense of the space, the various media, because I have a lot of different medias, and the common language. And I found that I'd bring this into the classroom, and there was a lot of hesitation to actually get in front of a camera and perform. They're like, "Oh, but you'll see me, oh, I don't want to be seen." And it's like, okay, well, usually what I do is I say, okay, you have to do a video performance, you have to deal with that sense of space, you have to have movement somehow. And it doesn't have to be just plain movement, it can be bouncing, you can ring, you can turn around, but you have to deal with the space. I make them do it in groups. Usually 3 or 4 works about the best. If you have like 6 people, it doesn't work very well. And through my education, I've taken creative movement classes. And the creative movement classes, they talk about different ways of moving. You can float, and you can slash, and you can dab. And we go through some movement exercises, and I talk about how to move in space and how to move with more than just your body. Just make your arms slash, make your head slash, slash with your feet. We do some, it's basically sort of dance movements. And I just try not to use the word dance. They figure it out after a while, but if you say we're going to do some dance, they all clutch and go, "Oh!" But if you say we're going to do movement, they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. What's movement about? And so I move around, and I'm right in there with them. And I encourage a lot of play, and they say, well, I don't want to be seen. So it's like, okay, you don't have to. You can do all of this without having your face in the camera. Just use your hands. And I'll take and physically move the camera and put the camera on the floor in front of them, and I have a monitor set up, so usually behind the camera or off to one side so they can see what it looks like. And if I set the camera on the floor, they realize that they can move back and forth with just their feet. I say, okay, now use your feet and create a ringing motion, and so that they can say, oh, and that frees up a lot of the anxiety about being in front of a video camera, because it's like, oh, you don't have to actually see my face, so I can kind of hide. And I bring out a lot of props. I bring out anything. If they're real intimidated, I'll give them stuff, and I'll say, okay, use this. Take this and deal with this in the space. And having a camera on and having a TV up so they can look at the monitor and just kind of watch what's going on, they get sort of drawn into the whole process. And usually after they've played with it for a day, 20 minutes a day, 2 days, 3 days, they forget about not wanting to be seen, and it doesn't become an issue anymore. I encourage a lot of experimentation. Well, if you don't know, try this, try that. What happens with the bird cage? Okay. Now you have this as a space. What does that look like? And you can see, oh, it's like kind of being in jail or something. Yeah, okay, now take the bottom out, which slides out of here, put that over your head. And then what do you see? How does that look visually? Some of them that really, we use sound a lot. I try and make strange sounds. If you don't know what that is, you can make some really interesting things happen. I don't even know if this will make a sound. You might be able to hear it. When that's off camera and you can't see it, you don't know what it is. And you can, and it's like, oh, what's that noise? Lots and lots of play, lots of process. It takes a lot of time. We record, because videotape is pretty cheap, I just put a tape in, push play, or push record, and basically record everything that we happen, and then I'll set up that night, kind of watch it, and pick out bits and pieces and show them back and say, look what you did, and they're like, whoa, cool, and then they want to do more. Once we get involved, the biggest trick is to get them to do it as a performance, instead of using the editor to say, okay, now we're going to make this go across like this, and then we're going to have all these footballs kind of rolling toward the camera. And what they want to do is record this with some sort of strange background, and then set it up and say, okay, now and then take everything down, stop the camera, and then bring the footballs and move the camera on the floor and roll the footballs toward the camera and say, and the problem is that gets so time consuming that it takes 30 to 45 minutes to shoot one piece that will last maybe 2 minutes. And so we have to really, I really have to work to put them into the performance mode. This is something that happens in one stage. So you'll have one person that does this, the other people ready, okay, now start rolling the footballs. But we want this up. Well, move the camera on the floor so you can roll the footballs to the camera, leave this thing, have all this stuff out so that you can do it as a live action performance piece instead of video editing tricks to make it more interesting. And that's the toughest problem, and that's just is a lot of practice. I encourage them to have a message, or at least a theme. Try and get a message. So it's a day at a circus. It's clowns. It's about something. Instead of just bells and whistles, fun. Let's throw lots of stuff at the camera. I want them to throw stuff at the camera for a reason. Is it about rain? Is it about acid rain? Is it about racism? Is it about how to tie your shoe? Is it about making a hot dog? Give lots of options and give lots of things. Okay, well, everybody bend over and pick up a pencil. You dropped your pencil, pick it up. Now make it visually interesting to pick up that pencil. That's all your video has to be about. I don't push them too much to say, okay, you have to do something about a major, like acid rain or an environment or the political issues. I find that if I push that, they clutch, but if I say it can be easy, like picking up a pencil, how to tie your shoe, how to clean up a room, that frees them up to think, oh, well, that was easy, so now I can do more. And then they always try and put more into it. And some are more, it depends on the personality. Some take on big issues and others just do something simple. I don't worry about that, really.
Tick tock, 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 tick tock.
Pum pum, pum pum, pum pum, pum pum.
Tock, tick 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 tock. Tick tock, 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 tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick
To think of it in terms of the space and how to manipulate the space. I'm trying to think more. Right. Oh.
You know, sculpture where you're modeling a bust or making wire.
Right. Okay. The way I see it is it's not really a traditional media so much as a, well, let's see, how would I phrase it? I see video in terms of sculpture as sort of just a different edge, a different way to look at the world. It's not like a tradition of making lithograph prints or making vessels out of clay so you have a cup, or even as a documentary form. I'm not looking at it as a documentary to sort of, you know, like video, to me personally, video is kind of used as in one sense as a document events. You can document the riot downtown, you can document the construction of the new arena. You can use it as an art form in terms of just like the movies that you see downtown. I mean, that's its own art form. But I'm looking at it, I'm trying to give it a little different twist so that it's almost like short 2-minute experimentations with visual imagery, sort of like a collage. If I assign students to do a collage in an intro to art class, I'll say, maybe we'll do surrealism, and I'll say use the elements of scale and rhythm and create a collage with the stuff, and I throw it out at them. And when I'm thinking in terms of video, I'm thinking in terms of just a different media that you may not understand, but here's an approach that might cause you to see the media in a different way. I don't really have a set goal end in mind and saying, you know, this is going to be a great thing you can hang on your wall. I think they're wonderful things. I'd love to see them as commercials on television instead of buy Dr. Pepper. See, I've got some right here. It's sort of like, whoa, what was that? Whoa, isn't that neat? Yeah. How'd they do that? And just to try and just as visual entertainment, I guess. Yeah, maybe visual entertainment. and I've thought this through a lot.
You know, because I remember years ago, you know, when Dennis Voss was dealing with his performance stuff, I remember him talking about it in terms of a time-based sculptural event.
Okay.
Time-based.
Check it out. Wow. And then you have to find a way to finish. Right. Well, I think time, and I talk about that. How are you going to bring things onto the screen? How are you going to end them? I mean, I don't want them to just be doing something, turn on the camera, just do this, and then turn off the camera. It all has to deal with time and composition. I mean, how do you deal with this space right here? And it's not just this space, but it's also this space. And so what I'm trying to do is get them to think in composition in 3D terms. And that's what, I mean, when I talk about sculpture, it's the three-dimensional composition. I always talk about, when we're doing these sandstone heads right now, I don't have any out, but they look at them like this. And I say, okay, great, what about like that? Oh, I didn't really think about, what about the back? Well, I haven't thought about it. Well, sculpture, to me, you have to think about all sides of it. I mean, this is much more interesting like this now that one leg is gone. Visually, it's very dynamic. So that's what I'm doing with the video, and I'm just, one of the, I think the important things is I don't want them to feel sculpture is carving clay, sculpture is modeling stone, or carving stone, or modeling clay, or bronze, or, I mean, sculpture doesn't have to be bronze. And art, the 20th century art has always sort of been pushing the limits of what you can do in any media. Drawing on film. I mean, you're taking the video of the action and the movement and the place and the setting and a lot of emotion and all that stuff, and then if you take it and you draw on it, you can change it completely. And this is like, well, now don't just think of sculpture as a 3D object per se. You think of sculpture in terms of space, and I always talk about space a lot. When you even, you know, when we present sculptures in a room, the first day they'll take their sculptures like this and they'll put them on the table. This is a real condensed version, but they all tend to take the sculptures and they set them on the table. When we do little wire things, like these little wire people that are hanging up here, and they all set them real close together, and I say, okay, now, first of all, sculpture is about space and how things relate like this, mass jumble of stuff. And so I move this one over here, and I move this one over here, and I move this one over here. And okay, now you can deal with the space around them, and you can see them as individual things, or you can see them as together, but it's not just a jumble. And so when I talk about the space, so when I talk about the video pieces, I really want them to deal with this spatial aspect in a different way. Instead of just making an object, you use this, what you have. And so you don't have, I want them to feel that I want the students to learn that they aren't confined.